I'm Mike Quinney.
Cristina Quinney. What's your name, Mama? Caitlin Quinney.
What's your name?
Uriah Logan Quinney.
Full name. I was working late one night for a moving company, and one of the guys that I was working with had a birthday the same day, so he wanted to go out to eat at a restaurant called Los Cucos, and she worked there during that time. And when I first walked in, first thing I noticed were her big, beautiful eyes, and I couldn't stop staring at her, so that's where we first met. I'm going to be honest, since I'm in church, I'm not going to make up the story that I always made up, but it was me. I initiated the first move. I had been watching her the whole time just to see if she was going to be taking off of work early, because it was late in the evening, and I didn't want her to escape without me getting her number or her getting mine. So I made the first move, and I approached her first and asked her for her number, but she was a little tough cookie back then. She told me, no, give me your number. So I ended up giving her my number instead and waiting for her call.
And I still have the card with his number on it.
You do?
Yes.
Wow.
But the date that he proposed to me, I still remember it. He took me to the Galleria, the ice skating ring. His plans were to propose in the center of the ice ring. But I was afraid. I actually fell on my face. After that, we headed over to the movies. I won't forget, we were going to go see Transformers, the first one. But he proposed to me in the car right before we got out to go see the movie.
Not my original plan, but I thought the middle of the ice skating rink would have been a lot more romantic in front of everyone. But I still got the point across.
Then why won't you hold his hand?
But I did hold her hand. Mommy still fell.
No.
I think what we were thinking back then is that, we're single. When we get married, that single life is just going to carry over into us being married. And we thought, us, being married to one another is just changing our title. It's not bringing on any other worries or troubles. It's just single life transferred over to a married life. We didn't see any of the trials, tribulations, or any of the problems coming our way. It's not until you get into marriage and life actually starts to happen that these things start tackling you, from all angles. So we were actually thinking that, it's just going to be smooth sailing. But, the world has other things in mind for you. I think some of the things are, I'm not going to say being committed to one another, but you're going to see people that don't care about your commitment to your spouse. And the biggest thing is that, protecting your marriage and having faith and trust in one another to do what is right and in God's eyes to protect your marriage as well. And these are some of the things that we discuss quite often when we first got married. With you working in a corporate setting and, you have people that are going to be around you all the time. Everybody's not a godly person, and everybody's not going to respect the relationship that you have between your spouse and between God. So those are some of the things that you need to protect as, a husband or a wife. So I think those are some of the main things that we really didn't see coming once you got married. I mean, it doesn't hit you until later on in marriage. I mean, because when you first get married, you're enjoying one another. Everybody can tell that you're newlyweds, you're enjoying life, everything's good. And then, a year and a half, 2 years down the road, things start hitting you. And small things can make your marriage rocky if you don't have Christ in your life, if you don't know how to approach it through God. Well, when I first met her, there was one thing that I really did notice. We have a godson now that when he was smaller, she would put a lot of time and effort into making sure that he was taken care of. And I've seen that grow substantially since we've been married, how she cares for children, how she's committed to doing something that she puts her heart into. And I see now, working with her in the ministry with the toddlers, that she goes all in taking care of the kids, making sure that they learn, making sure that they're taught correctly. We'll be up till 11:30, 12 o'clock midnight on Saturday nights, making sure that the kids have what they need for their lesson on Sunday morning. So, I mean, just that commitment shows me that, she's not only committed into doing what the kids need, but she's being committed to God and teaching these things to the children. And she's also committed to me as well. So that commitment stretches over multiple parts of her life, not just the children, but, mainly through God and the children. So I love that about her. Love it.
First and most important, that he's very passionate about Christ. He's bold about Christ. When there's been situations in his workplace to where he has the opportunity to express to people or tell people what Christ has done in our marriage and in our life in general, he's bold about it. He's not afraid. He's loving and caring, and he's a very family-oriented man.
Faith in God is first and foremost. You cannot have a godly marriage without God, and you can't have a marriage that's worth keeping without God. And you have to put forth an effort to make your marriage work. I see a lot of marriages crumble now because they run into some problems and they choose, it's too hard. I don't want to try to make it work because it's going to be too hard. It's too much going on right now, and they just let things go. Well, a marriage is a bond between you, your wife, and God. You promise to be with this person for the rest of your life, and simple arguments or something simple of the world makes you end that relationship prematurely. I don't think that a lot of people are putting God into their marriages in the proper aspects. You have people that have financial problems and they give up. Well, we can't do it because this person overspends. Oh, we argue too much. I have a combative wife. I have a combative husband. Go to God in all things. Have faith in God and let God work out your problems. But you have to be submissive to him. Proverbs 3 and 5 is the scripture that we follow. Have faith in God. Don't lean on your own understanding. Let God work out your problems. Have faith and know in your heart that he's going to take care of it for you.
One more thing. A key thing in our marriage is being selfless. Sometimes, you only think about you and you're like, well, why isn't he doing this? Or, why do I always have to do this? And my mentality is, what can I do to make him happy? Or what can I do to make life easier for him? Yeah. So selfless.
If you're working hard to please the other person and the other person is doing the same,
there shouldn't be any room for argument.
There's no room for argument. There's no room to be combative, because if you say you truly love me and I love you and I'm doing everything in my power to make you happy and it's pleasing God and I'm trying to please God as well, then our marriage should be smooth. Now, you're going to run into problems, don't get me wrong, but it shouldn't be problems between the husband and wife. It shouldn't be. No reason for it. Unacceptable. Finances. Finances are a big draw or a setback in some marriages, man. And I can't express enough how much God has come through for us with our finances. Having one income, still being able to take care of all of our responsibilities, take care of our children, mortgage and everything else. Sacrificing and allowing God to work in our lives is first and foremost.
Being patient.
Yeah. I'm still praying on the patience part, because I got a little problem with patience. Lord help me. But being patient and allowing God to work and seeing him take care of specific things that you've prayed for is one of the best feelings that I can ever experience. I mean, being married, having my children were great experiences, but allowing God to work and see him work in my life, by far the best.
Actually seeing him come through every time, and
yeah.
That way when you go through another trial or tribulation, you know he'll come through because he's done it in the past. You know he'll do it again.
He's 100% on the prayer call line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have to plan at least a week or two ahead of time because we have to plan our dates around other people's schedules. Because if we want to spend time together, we have to have someone there to watch the kids for us. Most of the time, what we'll do, call up a babysitter. Hey, can you keep the kids for us? If they say yeah, then it's mostly a movie night and dinner. But when we don't have babysitters, it's probably we'll catch a sitcom on TV, late at night, and
Put the kiddos to sleep
put the kiddos to sleep a little early. We'll catch a sitcom, something on TV, and we'll turn it in for the night. So I mean, our life is simple. We get to splurge when we have a babysitter, though. That's the thing. I mean, when we get a babysitter, we don't know how to act, man. It's pretty good when we get babysitters.
A good time. I want you to myself, so is that all right? Can we go on a date?
What about Uriah? I mean, is he happy mommy and daddy are together? I mean, what do you want to say?
He talking to you? No. You're not happy mommy and daddy are married? Yeah? You think mommy and daddy love one another? How do you know that?
Because
Because what?
I always say that.
You always see what?
I always say it.
You always say it? What do you say?
Do y'all love one another?
And what do we tell you?
Yes.
Oh, yes!